Bat. Choosing this card suggests you open your heart and pour love into caring for and nurturing those close to you. When you raise the frequency of your heart center, it enables your throat chakra to expand too. So focus on communicating with love and integrity. Then ask Archangel Michael to help you develop telepathy and your other psychic abilities. Tune in to the bats to download your highest potential and perhaps even the spiritual technology of the future. Your guidance is also to look at the world with fresh eyes. Perceive everything with wisdom. Listen to your intuition to discover the reasons beyond the obvious. Expand your life and remember, there is always a new way to do things. Okay, so the message here of the bats is see through illusion into truth. Bats are very, very, very interesting creatures. They look scary, but actually they are very vulnerable. Their wings are very thin and very vulnerable. You can immediately tear it. So bats are very careful. But at the same time, yes, bats are sort of like psychic in a certain sense because they use their sound. They sort of like cry out, send a sound wave, and that sound wave bounces back from everything around them and goes back to their ear. So it's like as if they have this unseen guiding system. And it's the same for us. I mean, we people also, if we just develop our intuition, we have an unseen guiding system. It's like the bats, we can be sensitive and it will allow us to get an idea of things even before we see them, even before we experience them. Another beautiful thing about bats is when they are resting, they hang upside down, whether from a roof or from a cave or from a branch of a tree. They hang upside down, and so they get to see the world from a different perspective. When they fly, they get to see the world normally. What you like for us, when we walk through life, we look at this the way we see it regularly. But there's also a challenge for us to try to look at things and situations from a different point of view. It's like watching things also upside down. It reminds me of the tarot card, the Hanged Man. If you try to be in the shoes of the Hanged Man, you will be able to see the world upside down. You get to see another perspective of the world. So when we are encountered by challenges in life and we couldn't understand the situation, maybe it's time for us to take the point of view of the bat or the Hanged Man and to try to look at the situation from a different point of view, maybe an inverted point of view. And maybe if we look at it that way, we will have a newer insight of the situation. Especially if the situation makes you lose your patience, if the situation makes you angry and makes you uncharitable towards others, maybe you need to stand back a bit, be quiet like a bat, and hang yourself upside down symbolically so that you can look at the situation in another perspective. And maybe it will cool you off and make you more charitable in handling the situation. So the bat can teach us to be like that, to silently back off, to silently watch. Actually, when a bat is resting at daytime, you will not notice them because they're so quiet. Unless if you really look around, then sometimes you will see a bat silently hanging from a tree or from a cave. They only become noisy when you disturb their space. But oftentimes they would just remain quiet. And there's also this spirit of communality. You see, at sunset, When the birds start to flock into the trees to rest, the bat starts to go out in flocks. Sometimes you see them coming out from the cave in groups. No? So there's also a communal character. They like to hang from trees or from caves together. And they do it, at first they are noisy, the interaction, but then when it's time to sleep, they just sleep quietly together. And when they sleep, they sort of like embrace themselves with their wings. Sometimes we ask ourselves, when was the last time you embraced yourself? It's good to embrace ourselves, whether physically or symbolically. It reminds us to love ourselves. And when you love yourself, it's easy for you also to stay with other people. Just as the bats, every day, they embrace themselves with their wings as they hang upside down. And they hang upside down together with other bats. And somehow, I guess this physical way of embracing themselves makes them even more sociable. When we are able to embrace ourselves constantly, to appreciate ourselves constantly, to affirm our inner selves constantly, when we do not hate our inner self, when we do not hate ourselves, when we affirm ourselves, it's like love yourself. When we do that, it's easier for us also to be sociable and to love others. Well, there are more insights you can learn from the bat if you would try to reflect from them. They are really, really, really interesting creatures and not really scary. They might look scary, but there is a vulnerability in them, and there is a loving sociability in them, and they know how to love themselves. They embrace themselves every day. Well, I leave the other reflections to you. They are creatures of the night. They like mystery. And maybe you can learn from it to love mystery in life. They go out in the presence of the moon. They go to the world of mystery. Just as when you go to your inner self, to the portal which is your heart, you explore the mystery within you. More reflections. The bat is a rich source of reflection. So that's it for the bat spirit animal. Until next time, have a great day.